it's a literal fantasy persona
Yeah.
that takes place in like an actual fantasy kind of realm.
Yeah. Instead of just me fantasizing about being a child again. It's a different thing. It's a different kind of thing.
It is.
I'm old. Hey, welcome to the JRPG Pursuit, your JRPG podcast for all things JRPGs. I'm Brandon.
I'm Abdallah.
And I'm Emily.
And we are thrilled to be here with you today talking about your favorite subject and mine, JRPGs. This week, as this episode is releasing, I think the day after, right? The day after this episode comes out, it is the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Tomorrow for you in the future, if you're listening to it.
And we'll be streaming it.
We're going to be streaming the Game Awards. So
watch the VOD.
You either watch us live, watch the VOD, come hang out. I'm sure it'll get copyright struck immediately.
100%.
And I don't know if they mute it. Do they mute it or does it? It doesn't matter. We can talk about this later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you'll check that out with us. I'm looking forward to it. Like in the past, I feel like, and maybe you guys feel the same way. I don't know. Like in the past, I was like, I'll have it on in the background. It's not something I really pay attention to. Maybe watch a trailer or two that looks cool, but like I don't really care. But like when we streamed it last year, it was actually, I thought it was a lot of fun. Just like watching.
Most fun I've had watching it.
So
exactly.
Yeah, looking forward to continuing that tradition with the Game Awards. And because
and maybe something cool.
What's that? Sorry.
It's maybe something cool. And what do you think that statue in the desert is?
Yeah.
Let's say it for now.
Yeah.
Let's have it here on record.
Mysterious statue in the desert. I think
It's going to be for the new Bubsy game.
Bubsy.
I called it. I called it. Bubsy 4D is going to be.
He's going to bust out of it. They're going to have a black cam on it, and he's.
I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Honestly, with that.
Bubsy has been in hell for the last several years, and he's finally escaped.
Quite literally.
Portal. What do I think it's going to be? I think
it's the new Larian studio.
You think it's the new Larian game? Okay, that's a good guess. That's a good guess. I will say that it is. Did they already say it's not Doom?
Correct.
Okay, they said it's not Doom.
They said it's not. So many things. They said it's like there's a list of things that they've eliminated already.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure
I have to look at that
Doom.
list. I don't remember it, but
Just
it does look like a Doom related thing.
I mean, it looks like hellish, yeah, you know.
Yeah, Diablo. They said it's not Diablo DLC.
Not that.
They said it's something else.
I'm going to say Stardew Valley 2. Stardew Valley 2.
That has to be it.
It's
not the Chocolatier.
Oh, the Haunted Chocolatier. Maybe he's dealing with some.
Sometimes you want to romance literal like hellspawn. So there you go.
Yeah,
or the devil himself.
And I'm not here to judge you for that.
No,
I'm not here to judge you for that. That's Dala's job. Anyway,
moving on.
In the spirit of the Game Awards this week, tomorrow, we wanted to talk a little bit about JRPGs and how they relate to the Game Awards, because I don't know if you noticed, but it's very rare for a JRPG to get any real recognition in the Game Awards, especially if it is not titled Final Fantasy or Persona, right?
Or Nintendo something.
Or even any then. Nintendo.
Even then.
So we wanted to talk about why that is, because it seems very strange. I know to me that like I have kind of dedicated my friggin' life almost to this genre, right? And so obviously I think we see quite a lot in these games that are worth delving into, that are worth experiencing. And we do as much as we can with our platforms to like blast that out to people and get people excited about it, get people to give them a try, right? But it's strange to me that, you know, with as great as JRPGs are, that they don't get very much recognition from the broader mainstream. And I know people are already typing in the comments, well, the Game Awards are garbage. It's just like a popularity contest, blah, blah, blah. But that's kind of my point. That's kind of what I'm saying is like, why aren't these games more popular? Right?
Yeah.
Like
in this Western sphere, if you will, because that's usually what the Game Awards have around.
It's very, very much so. It's very Western focused. So I just thought we would chat about that today because it's very strange. So
and topical. Like like I've heard also, over the couple of years when I was making content, JRPGs are so niche. Are you sure you want to like cover that stuff or anything that's a JRPG that's considered niche, right? It's a hidden gem.
I hear that so much.
All of them are hidden gems.
Right.
Like,
but is that really true?
I get told that so much, especially about even about the podcast. Like I've had like family, like people I know, they're like, why don't you open it to like the broader gaming sphere?
Yeah.
It's so niche.
Talk about
because like these are people.
Matt.
Exactly. Like these are people who are talking to me who aren't necessarily like JRPG like specific fans. So like to them, they're just like, that's way too niche and nobody's gonna like that. Like
who likes JRPGs other than
you? Yeah.
I can't believe that your friends and family are insulting our listeners and our viewers.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
And us.
And us.
And us. I swear.
It's okay.
And I look at them and then I just take up my glove off and I slap them across the face.
Throw it on the ground. The duel has begun.
Exactly. And then, I'm still alive. So there you go.
Thank you for defending our honor, Dala. We really appreciate
of course.
that.
Had to.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess to start with, right? Like, obviously, the elephant in the room with this topic is Expedition 33. Expedition 33 is a very big, well-known, much beloved JRPG. I'm sorry, folks out there that think that JRPG means that it was made in Japan. That's silly. It's just like
I can see the comments now.
We do not subscribe to that notion on this
French
podcast.
toast is not made in France. No. German chocolate cake is not made in Germany. I mean, it can be, but it doesn't have to be. It's
but not 100% of the time.
It's a style. You can taste it.
Exactly.
Right? You taste a piece of French toast compared to a piece of American toast. You know what kind of toast you're eating because it just is different.
And I don't think there's a necessary need to say it's JRPG as a way to skirt around the whole naming convention. It's a JRPG.
It's not serious enough that we need to skirt around things.
Also, everybody gets really
I'm not going to tiptoe around this because I'm nervous. I'm like, no, it's a game for God's sake. Like we just call it what it is. Like at the end of the day, it is a JRPG.
Talks like a duck, walks like a duck. It's a duck.
It's a duck.
However that goes.
So
so it's something like that.
It's a French developed JRPG, and I think it's brilliant. Right,
I enjoyed it.
I'm not
my time.
in any way saying that it doesn't deserve to be Game of the Year. In fact,
there's 12 other awards.
I'm championing it. Like I think that it's very much deserving of that. It's not my personal Game of the Year. It's very close, but it's like maybe a second for me. It's like,
did you guys vote?
Yeah.
Who'd you vote for your Game of the Year?
Oh no, I didn't vote for the Game Awards. I voted for something else. Golden Joysticks.
For the Game Awards, for the Game of the Year, I voted Expedition 33.
I would.
That was mine.
Because I have to say, Expedition 33 is probably like my second favorite game of the year. Only because Trails remake came out.
So
Trails
good.
for all of us, I think.
If I wasn't counting a remake, so let's just say a new IP,
new IPs,
I would be like, all right, Expedition 33 is number one.
Yeah, it is.
I like Hades 2 as well. I was actually torn between Expedition 33 and Hades 2. Hades 2 was brilliant. I enjoyed the heck out of that even more than Hades 1, and that's one of my favorite games ever. But Expedition 33, I think, just how the buzz surrounded around the IP and just the game itself, I think it came at the right time. And I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's nice to see that.
That's the weird outlier that kind of shines a light on the problem, right? A game that is brilliantly taking all of these elements that are in these games that we love and presenting them in maybe a different way than other JRPGs present the same elements. And suddenly you have like Game of the Year material. You have people losing their minds about the thing. And it's just because it doesn't quite look the same or sound the same or feel the same, maybe. I don't know. Like,
it's the weird. French influence makes it elevated somehow.
Yeah, it's to our minds, it's like, well, it's Western developed and it's French, so it's like
it's French.
I don't know if I was like, we were stuck in like a microcosm or whatever it is, we were screaming into like the same void of like when that game came out, everybody was like, it was like positive across the board. Hyped. Like everyone was so happy. The second it was nominated for all those awards plus Game of the Year, everybody's just started hating it. Like Twitter like blew up in like just hatred. And I was like,
even before then, I think people too much like tension against people who were maybe new to the genre. That was maybe their first experience or the first one in a long time that they acknowledged was a good game of the JRPG genre. And, long time standing JRPG fans. And then people who want to be, combative online, which
it always comes back to gatekeeping, right? Like it's always going to go to that. We don't want these new wannabe pretenders in here liking the genre. Because then we don't feel as special, right? We don't feel as special. And
I've had so much pushback when I made a tweet about how I don't think, being a gatekeeper is positive in any means.
Oh, yeah.
How it's supposed to be preserving, what we like. Like, I just find that mentality that someone else, because they like it and they maybe haven't, grew up with your experiences with it, they're somehow going to alter it, change it. It just sounds very like tin hat to me. A little bit conspiracy theory that someone's going to come in and change it. It's not any other element. It's specifically these people that you should have barred from having that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just it doesn't make sense to me personally.
It doesn't. And I'll say, like, if other people love it, like, it's not affecting my day-to-day life. Like, I'm not living in their life. So, like, they can just go out and, like, enjoy it themselves.
Also, this genre. We have such a back catalog of amazing games.
I know.
Like, even if, the future, maybe we won't have necessarily the same, like, one-to-one experience that we're used to. I think things evolve and adapt. Like, that's not bad.
Yeah.
We always have at least things in the, we talked about this with, like, remakes, remasters, how people are against that, especially if they're changing elements of the said, like, original. There's always, the original to fall back on and enjoy.
Right.
Like,
that's true.
But
yeah,
this is very multifaceted topic, I think.
There's like way too much for us even to say in one episode, but Expedition 33 brought together all of these elements from, because I don't want to, this isn't meant as an insult, but there's nothing like gameplay wise truly original, truly unique in Expedition 33. It's a whole bunch of, and I think they would acknowledge that fact too.
They have.
Right? They have. Like,
they have, like,
they're taking all of these concepts and they're working them in their own way and they're putting their spin on them, and they've
listed
something brilliant.
Like,
it's truly
JRPGs that they love, that they're inspired by.
And it's like that's the beauty, and that's why I think, like, it resonated so well with those who has loved it, is because it truly feels like a passion project. Like, these are people who are passionate about JRPGs, and they looked at all the JRPG, and they've played a ton. Like, these are people who have, like, seasoned JRPG players, and so, like, they know what they've liked across the history of JRPGs, and they just implemented that as, like, aspects of the game, and, like, kind of brought in a lot of the really positive feel that we got from different games, and this is why we're here, hyping it up and talking about it as being game of the year.
Yeah.
Like, the passion is there. That's why it is truly a JRPG from that perspective. Like, these people love the genre.
Mm-hmm. So my question kind of comes back to, if this game took all of these elements that it is borrowing from the storied history of this genre, put them together in their own unique way and put the game out, that was enough to get mainstream attention. So obviously the mechanics, the things that we do when we play JRPGs, they are able to be enjoyed by a broader population, right? Timed button press combat, dodges, parries, things like that. Exploration, treasure seeking. Turn-based combat. Things like that. These are all things that are certainly not deal breakers, and are actually things that I think people playing Expedition 33 genuinely liked, right? Like, they were positive.
Yeah.
So what holds back other JRPGs that have very similar mechanics, or like different combinations of different mechanics, right? From reaching that level of cultural awareness? Because it's kind of was an old joke that, like, every game had JRPG elements, right? At a certain point in the history of games, every video game for the most part had RPG elements baked into it, because there was just so much richness in the genre that other developers of other genres were like, we can't ignore this. Like, in friggin' sports games, they have, like, there are RPG elements in, like, your FIFAs and your Madden footballs and stuff. Like,
it's all about stats,
right?
Your builds, your team, your things like that, like
upgrading your character, leveling, whatever. Like, these mechanics are beloved. So what is it? So what is it about JRPGs?
Before we answer that question, I also want to mention another, very popular Japanese IP that has garnered a lot of Western attention. That's not traditionally a JRPG, but that's like the Dark Souls, Elden Ring. Like that has definitely, I think, also surpassed that, barrier of entry, if you will, with the Western audience really getting into that genre and thinking that's like a serious and award-winning sort of gameplay elements.
Well, that's an interesting point, because what that suggests to me is that it's not the origin of the game that is really the problem, right? Because yes, the FromSoft games are Japanese developed, Japanese created, but they are, they're kind of more or less like Western style, swords,
the gameplay is
knights, the gameplay, and the stories are very Western, very minimalist, isolationist sort of deals,
lore heavy, but not
lore heavy,
delivering it to you in a more mainstream kind of fashion.
Exactly.
You have to,
So it's not because they're Japanese. It's not like these games are Japanese, therefore they're just not going to win a popularity contest in America. Not true. Not true. So, yeah.
And I don't think it's difficulty either. Like people were saying how they like the difficulty level of both of those sort of games, because there's definitely difficult, JRPGs that are not popular.
Right.
I think the interesting thing about that is that like it kind of with the Souls games, they kind of brought in a lot of people who are now interested in that kind of style. And then Expedition 33 comes out and it kind of implements that same kind of mechanic into the gameplay. And so like I think that it started to pull people from who love Souls games into like straight up a JRPG because of that battle style that also involves kind of more, you have to be on throughout the whole
you
battle.
You gotta be alert for sure.
You gotta be alert. You're going in and out of like dodging and attacking and all these different things. So like it really implements like the elements of it are very Souls like with a JRPG spin. And so it started to like I think branch out further. Part of that was probably
mechanically, like Legend of Dragoon, Paper Mario, like that. The time burst mechanics is really how Expedition 33 plays, but I think a little bit of that, the parry system and also the art aesthetic, that I think is probably what's luring in a lot of those Souls players.
I did hear
try it out.
A lot of people talk about the graphic style of Expedition 33 being the reason that it was getting mainstream attention, because it's doesn't have an anime aesthetic or cutesy, moe sort of
simple, like Paper Mario. That's pretty simple.
Or like having a really stylized like simplistic view, or like it's, which I suppose that could be a factor. I wouldn't deny that that's a factor, because it is a beautiful game, Expedition 33. It's beautiful. It's very unique in terms of its world design and how they present it. It's beautiful and strange and very cool.
Stepping into a Rembrandt painting. How they play with light and darkness.
Very
but it's like, is that it? Like that can't be it.
That can't be it.
Right? That can't be the only
that being a factor though.
Certainly.
I think there's so many factors, and that's it's all these little things that just fell into place with Expedition 33. So like we could probably pull lots of little like aspects, like the music of Expedition 33 that like everybody, like even outside of like the genre of JRPG lovers, like heard that music and it pulled them in, and they're just like, this is amazing. And so that got them interested, like, okay, maybe I need to like take a look at this game and see what it's like. So there's like so many little things about, I think, Expedition 33 that just really resonated.
I think though, as far as storytelling goes, I think the big thing that probably solidified people giving it a try is some of the kind of, big moments that happen early on, like the shock factor. If you look at, say, like American TV, especially like the HBO, like, the non network shows, for a while there, those are like the most popular, viewing, like the shows to watch, even I guess still now, because I think they utilize that shock factor. And I think Expedition 33 did a really good job at doing that, especially, early on. And then kind of also throughout the game, but definitely early on was kind of what I think got people into it.
That's very accurate. Because like with like especially if you look at like HBO shows and things like that, like that first episode, how that first episode ends is usually like kind of like a
deciding factor.
It's like a big cliffhanger or something shocking happens that like gets you like hooked, and you're like, all right, I want to see what's going to happen now.
Like Game of Thrones, the Red Wedding is iconic, right? And everyone wanted to watch it after hearing about the Red Wedding, right?
Exactly.
I don't know about everyone, but a lot of people did.
Yeah. So I think like the storytelling is also like definitely more, I'd say like has a Western appeal, rather than kind of like an Eastern appeal. So
is that the way from your guys' perspective? Do you see like, because I think you guys watch way more like Eastern television, Eastern films than I do. Is their storytelling a lot more slow, deliberate pacing, even in the beginning? Or
not always.
Not always. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I would say it's usually plays more on like family drama. So it's not like blood and like, graphic. Yeah. Like, oh my God, this happened. It's more like roller coaster of emotions, but not like, oh my God, this just happened.
Right.
It blows my mind, that kind of thing.
Because I certainly could see like the pacing of most traditional JRPGs that we talk about, that we play. They are slow to start often, right?
Yes.
Look at like a game like Persona 5, which did get some recognition from the Game Awards. Again, like for whatever reason, Persona and Final Fantasy get recognition. They don't often win, but they get recognition. But like that game takes so long to get going. Hours.
Yes.
Basically most JRPGs do have a slower pace, a more deliberate pacing, even in the beginning. They're not grabbing your attention because maybe they assume that their target audience is willing, like we are willing to wait it out. Like we know the good is coming.
Go along for the ride.
We're there. Yeah. We're on board with it.
I think you're onto something though. Because I do think the length of a game also probably dictates who wants to play it. Because I know, for example, my brother, whenever I tell him about this really cool game, it's over 40 hours long. He's like, 40 hours. I can't do 40 hours. No. Or if I start it, I'm not going to finish this.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I think, especially when we tying back into the Game Awards, a lot of, I don't know exactly how the games are selected for, the main categories, but from my understanding, they, have a panel of mostly like industry people, game reviewers. They're not all probably going to, like, if they have so many games to cover, in a given year, they're not going to probably dedicate the time to sink into 100 hours a year.
I would recommend, I can try to find it so that we can put it in the description. But there was a video by, what's her name, Charlanazard.
Alana.
Yeah. Alana Pierce, is that her name? Or did I?
Alana Pierce.
Okay,
yeah, that's Alana Pierce.
She did a video because she used to be on the panel that would like select games, and she kind of explained the process. It's very interesting and also very like I don't know, cringe inducing. Like, why would they do it that way? That seems so dumb. But it was very interesting. Yeah, very interesting to hear her perspective as a former judge or whatever you want to call it, panelist. Because it does sound like you would have a lot of people that would be like, well, I'm not going to play that. That's too long. That's too big. I've got other things to do.
Yeah.
I'm a game journalist. I have to play 5 million games. I don't have time for these massive games, whatever.
Even they like the genre, like they have to pick and choose. Like, okay, Atlas delivers. That's why I'm playing Persona. Or there's so much buzz about Expedition 33. It only takes you maybe 30 hours to beat. I could do that.
Yeah.
Let's see what the hype is about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
but I feel like Xenoblade or something that's 100 hours? No.
Right. No. And they love a good story. And when I say story, I don't mean the story of the game. I mean like the development story. Right. Yeah. And Expedition 33 is a great story. This developer that came out of nowhere, Underdog Studio, Xbox money or no, like they kind of came from out of nowhere, right? Like they people from
Ubisoft developers
formed this team and put out this game after several years of work. And it's a cool little, industry story. And it's just fundamentally the Game Awards, just like the Emmys or just like the Oscars, is an industry patting itself on the back, right?
Exactly.
Like,
modern gaming's not dead.
Right.
Look at this. Look at this.
We have award shows and there are celebrities.
Exactly.
You guys think also, I guess, talking about celebrities, do you think the voice cast, like actor, like the pedigree, also elevates a bit? Because they have some pretty big stars that they brought on for the English cast for Expedition 33.
Yeah, I
That's
think
true.
that I remember being like, oh, Charlie Cox is on that. Like, that's crazy, right? Like,
that's a big deal. Yeah.
Big deal.
And Ben Starr, I mean, I don't know if he's big outside of games, but like,
I think he's become more popular everywhere.
Become popular after Final Fantasy 16, right? Like, he really kind of blew up. As really the only thing I look back on in that game fondly. It's like, oh man, I really like Ben Starr's performance.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
If I didn't care for the rest
I still feel mixed, but not to hate on Final Fantasy 16 here.
I enjoyed my time with it, but looking back on it, I'm like, oh yeah, Ben Starr was like the highlight for me.
Yeah.
So like I think totally the caliber of I guess respectability, right? It's not even necessarily the caliber. Like there are some JRPGs with lesser known actors that are still fantastic. The actors all do a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
They're not known entities in the same way, right? So maybe it's a little bit of a popular. Again, it's all a popularity thing, right?
It is.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at like the history of like the people who do a lot of these reviews are for like publications and like media, they're generally not the biggest fans of JRPGs. Like if you look at like the old school, like, you know, G4, like leading back to those days up until even now, like and how like IGN sometimes scores or like looks at JRPGs, like they always kind of like, you know, have specific people who do JRPG reviews, but they're also probably not JRPG fans, so they're very critical of them.
Yeah, things that they
get stuck with the long game that they gotta
think about as like negatives. We're just like, what are you talking about? Like that's part of the genre.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like their cons would be something that is like inherently part of being a JRPG fan, and they would be like, that's a con for me. I'm like, yeah, because you don't like it, and hence, you know.
Yeah. So we don't think it's xenophobia necessarily why they think that way.
No,
I don't think so.
At least nowadays, maybe a little bit before. A little bit.
In the 90s,
back in the old days,
there was a lot more of that. This is some weird stuff from Japan, man. Like
this is so kooky.
Yeah.
And it's like now everybody's very like into Asian media and music.
Anime has taken off so much post-pandemic.
It's a different world. So it really
is.
That the xenophobia is as big of a thing.
No, I don't think it is as much.
To some extent, but
but
I don't know.
But like I kind of want to move it into this whole idea of like one of the things that we keep seeing online is like seeing trails in the sky being snubbed across different areas, and like because like you look at it it's like that's like one of the most highly rated, like with the score
on
Metacritic games of the year, but somehow it just like doesn't end up on any list anywhere in terms of like outside of the JRPG reviewing sphere and things like that.
I do think the issue though, it only had 33 reviewers. That's what it comes down to. Only 33. Like who's going to nominate it if they haven't played it, you know?
There's only even if all 33 of those people were on the panel selecting games, that might not even be enough to get it on the list.
No,
and I doubt it's all 33 of them are on there, you know. Only a subset
of a fraction, I'm sure. Maybe 5 of them are on there.
Because the ones who review, you know, JRPGs, they tend to be from niche publications. Or I doubt a lot of them are probably being invited to something like, you know, the Game Awards and things like that.
Right.
And it makes me think about it in the perspective of like marketing. So a lot of the games that you do see on the list of like, you know, best games or like on the Game Awards are games that have been marketed to like the nth degree. You have all these games like, you know, Expedition 33, like small, you know, indie studio, but they had Microsoft backing for a lot of the marketing aspects. Like
from that Xbox showcase.
Yeah, Xbox showcases.
A big chunk of it. Highlighting. Everyone's like, ooh, they look, that's cool. But they show.
Yeah. And so like a lot of JRPG studios just don't have the funds or the marketing team to really put up against that.
I think the closest we've seen a little bit in Sony State of Play from the big studios, like Bandai Namco shows a little bit, and then Nintendo on like the sizzle reel.
Exactly, and that's why you see like, and that makes sense why like let's say Persona does so well, because like with Sega, you know, taking like with Atlas and Sega partnering at this point, like there's just so much more money being poured into it, And so like when Personas comes out, like when Persona 4 or 5 came out, there was just so much marketing behind that. And so like, and the same thing with Final Fantasy, like Square Enix has the name recognition already, but like they also market the heck out of like
that's their number
Final
one
Fantasy
IP
games. Yeah, like
sales wise, that's their, I think they just published those numbers, right?
Complains about it, right? Everybody,
it's so funny,
but it's like their biggest, like it's
like double Dragon Quest, like even more than double. I thought, sales wise, it's crazy,
which is wild.
It is funny, like but yeah, marketing is huge, and I worry, and this is something I've talked about, I know, on my own YouTube channel before, but like I worry that like companies and even fans are satisfied with the level of growth that all of these games have achieved, right? Yeah. They're like, well, you're never going to get higher than whatever X% of market penetration with a standard JRPG, turn-based, whatever. You're never going to get higher than that. So what's the point in putting marketing money towards it? That we already have our audience, right? It's like kind of like my thing. I remember talking about it in one of my Atelier reviews where I mentioned that they don't have English voice acting. And like that is a stumbling block for a subset of fans that would, I think, like those games, but they're like, well, they don't have a dub. I'm not going to play it. Like I've had,
that's a barrier. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Comment that very thing. I'm like, so what the, Koei Tecmo, I was blanking on the name, Koei Tecmo. What they've decided is we are satisfied with this small pool that we have. We are going to make games for this small pool, and we're not going to do anything to expand it. And that, to me, that's how a series dies. It won't die overnight, but that's how it dies in the long run. You have to find new fans and bring them in. And it's hard enough when you've got so many JRPG fans out there gatekeeping the heck out of every series, trying to keep new people out. So it's like you're fighting a front on, a war on two fronts.
Yeah.
And
I think, for the Atelier, though, I think they are trying to expand, but they're trying to do that with like Yumiya, with a different combat style. They think that will be
that'll do it.
The way to penetrate the Western market by inserting action. That's not always the case. That's what we saw with Expedition 33. It's turn-based.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not exactly.
And Final Fantasy 16 too.
Yep.
Not sales were disappointing.
It's not a surefire answer to all your woes. Just make a game action.
It's not just action.
Like, they shouldn't be comfortable with because you can always keep the same fans, and you're going to make the same amount of money per game with the expected market that you're catering to. But at the same time, game development is getting more and more expensive.
It's going up.
So if that keeps going up and your sales numbers stay the same, at some point you're going to be like deeply in the red, and
also,
then you're just
like population growth.
Yeah, exactly. That's not going pretty high.
That's going up, even like with low birth rates. It's still going up.
Right,
it's true.
You should have a much bigger potential audience than you ever have, and a lot of games just are not chasing that at all. And I'm not saying abandon the things that your hardcore fans love. I'm not encouraging. I would not encourage a company to do that, because that's a good way to also sink your game. It's a balancing act, right? You need to reach out for new fans.
Evolve. That's all.
You evolve. You don't need to blow yourself up. You just need to evolve.
I think Trails does it really well, like in the terms of evolving the formula of the games.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like they do enough to make it feel fresh and new for new fans, but at the same time still cater to the old fans.
And doing the remakes, I think, is inserting inviting new fans to play who have been hesitant for so long to try it because of how long the series has been.
The remakes are the smartest thing that I think Falcom has ever done, because they are taking that whole philosophy of widening the pool, like literally taking it seriously.
Yeah,
and
they are.
They realize, kind of like we do, I think, that like there's no reason this should be niche. It shouldn't be a super niche series. And there are so many JRPGs that I think fit that are like,
they lean into it a little bit.
Why is this so unpopular?
Like, I think Saga, for example, Romance in Saga 2, they also evolved, trying to cater to a wider audience rather than, pleasing the core base who likes the mechanics the way they are. Mm-hmm. So I think that was smart on their part.
Yep. I think they had to have known, especially with Saga. I don't know. I haven't looked at the sales numbers, but I don't think that they were like extraordinary, right? The recent releases, Emerald, Beyond, and Scarlet, whatever.
Don't think so.
Something.
Yeah.
like evolve or die, right?
Yeah. And then going back to Falcom, like simultaneous English releases. I think that was huge too.
Yeah.
Not trying to do like a year delay or more of releases. Get in that hype window when everyone's playing it.
Understanding that Japan can always be your core. You know, you are Japanese. You make games for the people that you know. That's fine. But like understanding that your potential audience in the West is so much bigger than you could possibly get in Japan. That was one of the eye-opening things for me. And like, if I had ever thought about it for 2 seconds, I would have come to the realization myself. I just never did. But looking around the Nintendo Museum, they had all the sales numbers on all the different consoles as you go around the displays. And the West, even just US alone, was always just like so much bigger than the sales numbers in Japan. Massive. So like, I think Falcom, you're exactly right. Like they are starting to understand we need to, there's a lot of people over there. And some of them really seem into this stuff. So like, let's treat them not as second-class citizens. Let's consider them part of the core fan base.
Include them. That's all.
Exactly.
We don't necessarily have to make games just for them. Like, I think that's also a recipe for disaster when you lose kind of your, the roots
identity
and everything.
We like JRPGs. We don't want them to become something else,
We don't.
And I think the smartest thing I think Falcom did was partner with NIS America. Because I think because Falcom doesn't have a heavy American they don't have presence in America.
I don't think they really do. No.
Like they don't have an American headquarters or things like that they really
they worked
deal
with Xseed and Axis before.
Exactly. And so like I think like when they hit their stride with NIS America, where NIS America was like starting to like push for those simultaneous releases, they were working hard, and they're also like pushing a little bit more of the marketing side too, and kind of trying to cater these things more to like US fans. And so I think like you started to see just a much bigger growth in Trails fans or people being interested in the Trails series as they took on that. And it doesn't say like you have to always be with NIS America, but it's like that mentality that I think they've learned, I think, from that. And now they're realizing that like, yes, we have to be like tackling the US. There's a lot here.
Yeah. I think the best thing NIS did was they were just consistent, doing release after release, having Trails, still in the conversation, not having a big gap between releases.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah. That turned things around, I think.
Yeah.
But I guess going back to our whole thing, are JRPGs actually niche? Like, I think we've been talking about it, but we haven't really answered it directly. Do you guys think JRPGs are niche in the West?
I think it depends. I think you'll get a different answer depending on who you talk to, because from what we've been saying, right, like so many games, even Western games, incorporate so much of like core JRPG-ness into their design philosophy that it seems crazy to be like, oh yeah, this is a tiny little niche genre that nobody plays. Obviously, there's a lot of good stuff in there, or people wouldn't be taking from it left and right.
Also, if you look at our shelves, they're full of JRPGs.
There's a lot.
It's not like there's a small quantity of them.
Right. There's
especially in the West published,
Yeah. They know that there's an audience here. So if you are holding it up to something like Call of Duty or Madden, sure. Yeah. I mean, if that's your standard,
Fortnite,
free
to play,
right? That's which, I mean, at that point, when you're talking about games like that are primarily competitive esports type games, right? That's almost a different animal altogether. I know you technically play them with a controller or a keyboard, but it's not the same thing. It's different. If you hold up JRPGs to like just straight up action games or platformers, it would be really interesting. And I didn't think to look this up, but like to see comparisons in sales if you take those giant behemoths out of the conversation and just look at the other kind of major genres. How do JRPGs stack up there?
Yeah, if you look at like Nintendo, for example, their first party games, like they have two major JRPG series, Xenoblade and Fire Emblem. And sales wise, I think they do decent. They don't do Mario levels, but they don't have to.
Yeah, it's hard.
But I don't think they're so small that they're niche,
Yeah.
Like they sell millions. So
I mean, you look at like Xenoblade, 2, especially in 3, 2 especially, I think. How much did that sell? Like
that's been the best seller.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that was
I can't
the top
give you
seller.
the quantities. But,
yeah, I know it was like multiple millions at least. I don't know. It wasn't like
on the Switch, right?
On the Switch.
And I don't know cumulatively. Xenoblade Chronicles on all 3 platforms it's been on, how many sales they had, but they kept bringing it back for a reason.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think it's a genre that is less niche than it has ever been, but still feels niche. We still feel underrepresented, I guess.
That's the thing. Yeah.
And
I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know how you define
disproportionate representation.
Yeah. Like if you define niche as like the literal number of people playing these games, then I don't think it's anywhere near as niche as it used to be. But if you describe it based on its place in the conversation, like the critique, the art critic space of video games, I guess it is from that perspective, because it doesn't get that attention. That
there are some exceptions, though.
There are.
Like we've talked about Exception 33. I think Honkai Star Rail is another exception.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know how. That's a huge user base, and it's turn-based.
Yeah, but I'm talking specifically about like being a part of the quote unquote conversation, right? Like games that these sorts of people that are voting on the Game Awards are going to put forward as their nominee or whatever. Disproportionately, given how big JRPGs have gotten, disproportionately small numbers of people are talking about them, and that I think is weird. That's I think troubling.
Part of it, though, has to do with networking, and I don't think a lot of Japanese developers or publishers network with the right people to get the recognition for the Game Awards show. Because especially in the US, like I feel like if you live in LA, you know the people in the industry who live there. They don't talk to people over the water, over the pond, on the other side. Not
you remember what happened to Sega of America, and Sega of Japan?
Yeah, they did not get along.
No,
they didn't.
Not get along. Console Wars, great book.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen was in talks to develop that book into a movie for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
That would have been interesting. I think that's true. I think that kind of speaks a little bit to the marketing thing we were talking about.
It is.
Which 100%. Is like, marketing,
but also
reaching out
under the table marketing,
reaching out to an audience. But like, there's more to market. Like there's also that interpersonal shaking the right hands, meeting the right,
go to parties, all that.
Yeah.
The people you know.
The people you know. And I think that unfortunately does just have to fall on the Western publishers to do those things. Get these games. And the thing about it is there is a benefit to them being nominated for things like the Game Awards, right? Getting that recognition, being a part of that conversation, that increases sales. As silly as some of us might think it is, because of how it's just a popularity contest, it doesn't really matter, that sort of thing. Like getting nominated for Game of the Year or in one of these prestigious categories does increase your sales. So like there's a reason to do it.
Like Xenoblade 3, the sales I think spiked after the Flute guy did his performance. After it was nominated for OST of the year.
That was amazing.
People were talking about Xenoblade like, oh, this is so nice. The Flute guy's awesome. What is this?
And that's the thing is I think like with Japanese developers and publishers is like they don't have a lot of front and center with the US crowd. And since this is a US based game, awards, like I feel like with it from a Japanese perspective, you get like the Miyazaki from the Souls games, like they're popular enough in the West, so they have that. Or then you get the people like who do like Suda 41, who make like very weird, like they have those like really interesting things that like catches people's eyes, and like so like it becomes popular in the US because of how. And Kojima is like, Kojima, like he's just like a lot of his games are catered toward a Western audience. Like, because I think like Metal Gear Solid was more popular towards Americans than it was actually to the Japanese initially. And so like he's always kind of looked at it from a Western lens. And so like with the Japanese developers and publishers, they kind of like just stay off of the limelight a lot sometimes.
Oh, they don't want to be
really
the
hear
stars.
about it. Exactly. And so like then people don't really hear about them or don't like, get to know them or understand that. So like it takes like some sort of sensationalizing, Sensationalization. Yes, I'll get there. To actually get them, like, like when the flute, like that Emily brought up, like that showing that off in like on a stage.
Sensationalism.
Sensationalism.
Sean Connery. Tongue tagger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, it's important for us to do what we can, not just like us as people with like a YouTube platform or whatever, sure, but like fans in general, not just people with like YouTube platform.
Advocate for your favorites.
Advocate for these games on social media, retweet when the publisher puts out a tweet about the game, retweet it, broadcast it out, like, because it's really about getting these games more into the conversation. And when they're in the conversation, people will play them and they will see that they're good, because like we said, there are so many elements that get taken from these games that are used in other more popular games, not necessarily used better too, just like used at all. And those games get an audience. Like these games that we love should have a much bigger audience. It is bigger than it's ever been, but there's no reason that we should put that artificial.
Sorry for more.
Yeah.
Yes. So moral of the story is don't gatekeep this stuff.
Stop gatekeeping.
Don't gatekeep, but also don't just limit your expectations,
Yeah. Like,
what's your worst term? Another, I guess, caveat I wanted to bring up, especially for the Game Awards, is how many gacha game, ads we get played. And I think, unfortunately, with the anime aesthetic that a lot of JRPGs are leaning into nowadays, they're getting kind of compared to the gacha games, and people have like an aversion towards them. Or if they don't want to, pay for a single player experience, they just are going to divert their attention to the gacha games and their time and money. So I feel like gacha games, in a way, have kind of also disrupted the popularity that JRPGs could have, if you will.
Yeah, that's interesting too. There was just an interview with, I forget who it was. Dala Talk, while I look this up because it's kind of related.
It's kind of related. Dala Talk.
Dala Talk. No, but I do agree on that. Like, it feels like since gacha games came into the limelight, and like I feel like anime aesthetic has always been kind of it could be a turnoff to a lot of people, because like the tropes and the things that come with anime games are not always as widespread loved, especially by people who enjoy things like, I don't know, like the typical Horizon Zero Dawn kind of game, or they want an Uncharted game, like the Sony typical third party, or the Sony third person action type game that has these very lean, like cinematic stories.
Mm-hmm. But also, like, some of them don't realize the tropes that happen in anime are a joke.
Oh, no,
they take it too seriously. I'm like, it's a joke.
They don't
take it too seriously.
Yeah, like
Japanese people don't act like this.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, we know enough about like anime, or like we play
about
JRPGs,
the culture, I would say, in the Weibo culture, if you will.
It's like the Japanese humor is like, it's a foreign humor, and so it doesn't translate well to people who don't know it or understand it or have like experienced it before.
Yeah, not as exposed.
Yeah, exactly. So like it can be a turnoff.
Humor is one of the hardest to translate.
Exactly.
And I think honestly the JRPGs that do the best job are the ones that take that to heart and understand, for some people, for the, like you say, the tropes, they don't understand them. They don't get what that's supposed to mean. So like, if there's anything that the localizer, the publisher can do to ease that burden, I think that's for the benefit of the game, for the benefit of the series or whatever. But I did find this, I just read today. It was Shuhei Yoshida from formerly from PlayStation, who was saying basically like, it's hard for American or not American, Japanese developers to keep up with the Chinese companies because they just can't produce games at that scale that quickly. Because in China, they can like hire a gigantic team and make them work 5 million hours without a break.
Lots of manpower. Lots of manpower.
They're able to throw people.
They have a huge,
They
have a huge population.
Because the population's huge. The scale is
massive,
huge.
They have so many people they can pull from.
Yeah.
Japan's population is definitely limited.
Yeah. and they're not as restrictive on like how they can work them, right? So like it is.
I don't think it's that bad.
Well, that's what Shuhei Yoshi was saying. I'm not.
He was implying that. Okay,
I'm not.
Japan's work culture isn't any better at this point.
Yeah, I don't think Japan's any better.
A very stringent work.
Or probably not Korea too.
This is why I think like, if a Japanese guy is saying this, like it must be.
It must be really bad.
But yeah, so like JRPGs are at a disadvantage there too, where it's like these other games are coming in from China and flooding the market with, some of them aren't even bad. I think Honkai Star Rail is great. I think Genshin Impact is great. They're not even that they're bad. There's just so many of them, and
there's a lot.
They turn off a portion of the potential audience. That's just lost revenue for JRPG developers, right? So,
yeah. Or if they're going over there and experiencing those games rather than, single player games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's all trade-offs.
And I feel like, there's a whole market of people who just play multiplayer games. Like
that's,
There are.
Because like there was
they want their best girl.
Yeah. There was like a comment I saw on something that was like a person got really annoyed with like Expedition 33 being, nominated. And they're just like, I think they described people who play single player games as like holier than thou towards people who play like multiplayer games. So like he like had this like
this notion
that like like we're just like looking down on the little multiplayer.
And we're asocial. We just want to have our own game experience and not experience with other players. Something like that.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's just a funny concept.
That's funny.
It's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an analogy because that's like how I think about things, but I'm having a hard time coming up with one. It's like wanting to go play outside with your friends versus wanting to read a book or something. You know what I mean? Like that's not a good analogy, but like single player versus multiplayer, it's a different, like you wouldn't say that reading a book is inherently better than going outside and playing with your friends. They are just two different things. And that's how I feel personally about like multiplayer gaming, competitive gaming versus like a single player game experience. They're just different. They're not the same thing. Yeah. It's weird that the Game Awards put them on the same stage at the same time, right? It's weird.
They give you different categories because it is gaming at the end of the day. It's what takes up our time and not the video game sphere. But
it is, but
it's also hard for me to wrap my hand around like a multiplayer game getting game of the year. Like I could see someone's enjoyment where that's the best game they played that year.
It is similar in that they're all games, but I would push back and say like actually like that's why we have the Emmys and why we have the Oscars, right? That we have two sets of awards because television occupies a different space for us than movies do. And I think similarly, multiplayer games occupy a different space for us than single player games do. So it's like maybe someday down the road,
that'll be interesting.
Yeah, maybe someday down the road we have two award shows or whatever for to better kind of accommodate that divide. I don't know.
I feel like it would still be snooty Oscars though. And then multiplayers would be the Emmys. Or go to Globes or something. I don't know.
I feel like the Oscars would be like the Oscars, and then the Golden Globes are just for like the multiplayer. Like the Oscars are all like hoity-toity, like we're single player.
You got a Golden Globe. That's so good. Very
good job for you. I got to this Oscar here.
We're gonna put that on the fridge right over
well, I think we did had a good conversation.
I think it's interesting, the changing landscape of gaming and how we're seeing JRPGs getting more recognition, but maybe not as proportionate as maybe they deserve, at least in our opinions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's going to be a process, and I think we all have to be involved in it to take these games that are not as niche as they used to be, but still need to have a bigger, louder voice at the table. So hopefully,
but it's getting louder.
It's getting louder. The fact that we have a game like Expedition 33 as Game of the Year and as the front runner for Game of the Year, right? Like that's big. That's big.
Yeah. So,
I think it's
Expedition 33 is like the Lord of the Rings of the gaming sphere right now. Like they won what they got? They nominated for 12. 12 or 13 nominations back in the day.
Return of the
12,
King.
right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I forgot exactly how many.
Return of the King won Best Picture as well. This is not
Best Picture. Yeah, but it's
That's the
nothing.
biggest one.
But I was trying to pull in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So naturally.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you all of you.
Thank you
out there for watching, for listening, for participating in the dialogue, in the comments. We really appreciate hearing from you. We try to respond to comments when we can. We all are just insanely busy, but rest assured we do at least read them. We will try to respond whenever we can. So thank you in advance for leaving comments. If you would, especially if you listen on podcasting platforms, if you would consider leaving us a review on a podcast platform of your choice, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, it just helps with discoverability. So we really appreciate that. And thanks, of course, as always, to our members for supporting the show, for making it literally possible. Thank you so much for...
We have something exciting, too, that's coming up.
Yes.
So we have a brand new membership tier that we just launched, and we have 4 games in the running for our quarterly spoiler cast that will be available for everyone. But that specific membership tier gets to vote on it. Do you guys want to share what 4 games are in the running?
Yeah, let's share those.
So what is it? Kingdom Hearts. We've got Nier Automata. And what else we got?
Digimon Time Stranger.
Digimon Time Stranger. And the 4th one is
Lunar 2.
Lunar 2, yes. That's And right now, I haven't checked. Last I checked was like neck and neck.
It's neck and neck on 2 of those. So
on 2 of them.
Anyone wants to join and help decide what we'll be playing, we would appreciate it.
Yeah. It'd be fun. Either way, I think
it'll be fun too. So this will be in addition to our weekly podcast. It's like a special quarterly one where we get to, talk about games without censoring ourselves of, worrying about spoilers for anyone who hasn't played it yet.
Yeah,
exactly. So even if you're not a member, you'll be able to enjoy the spoiler cast when it does come out and we drop it.
Yeah.
If you don't mind being spoiled.
Yeah, as long as you played it.
Yeah, maybe
just a little extra.
Yeah.
Or if you don't
and
care.
the tier also has a monthly Q&A session that we will do live streams for.
Yeah,
just for
that will be just for the Pursuer Plus members, but that's an additional perk of that level. Yeah, the Pursuer members get still, the same thing they've always gotten: access to the after show, all that. Everybody gets access to the Discord, right? So, anyway, that's enough pitching that. Y'all know. Y'all know.
Just to explain it.
Y'all know this.
So thanks again for tuning in, and I guess we will see you next week.
Yeah, catch you on the flip side.
Bye-bye.